Hey, good day, good day. I hope you can hear me clearly and see me very clearly too. I will be talking about, my name is Onome Adeyemo, Onome, Onome Adeyemo, and I'm an advocate for couples having a sparkling marriage life. Today I'll be talking about the topic, very important topic that tears most homes apart: communication. So I'll be talking about 5 ways you can rev up your communication life. There are other ways, but I just want to pin it down to 5. In having to deal with your spouse, you cannot rule out communicating. It's just like having a Ferrari without fuel. That is what marriage without good communication is, my opinion. So if you cannot go far, if you cannot do so well in your home as an individual or as a couple, if you're not communicating well, then you should look out for ways to help, to change the situation, to eliminate everything that's holding you back from enjoying a good home, and look out for better ways to enjoy it with your spouse. Okay, and I mentioned that a Ferrari without fuel is like marriage without communication. You cannot go far if you don't agree with your spouse. In agreeing with your spouse, if you don't talk about it, how do you know whether you agree or not? That's why the scripture says, Amos 3:3, two cannot walk together except they agree. So in marriage, if you and your spouse are not on the same page, maybe because you disagree or you are not even talking about an issue at all, there's no way you are making any progress in relation to that issue. I'll give an illustration. You may have come across this post or a story about two goats that were tied together, and each of them was pulling the other to one side, like, no, come with me. The other one was saying, no, come with me. And the rope was getting tighter. At the end of the day, they did not make progress because they were both pulling each other apart. But if you look at the scenario where both of them will agree and say, let's work together, following one path to look for an escape or something, they will go far and go fast. But if they are dragging each other to say, no, have it my way or you have it your way, they are not going to go far, like I said. So if they sit together, have a nice, reasonable communication, and they agree that, okay, let us go through this path, in no time they will make real progress and they'll be free, they'll be set free. So the same thing can be applied to marriage. When you and your spouse are not in agreement, or you're not even talking about a particular issue, you're not even analyzing things together, there's no way things will work out well. And in a home where there's no communication, you see a lot of things go sour, because at some point you'll be living like two roommates. You're not talking to me, I'm not talking to you, or I decide to talk to you only when I want to talk to you. So where there's no communication, where communication ceases, a lot of things just go sour, like I said. Now, that is where anger steps in, resentment comes in, bitterness, unforgiveness, and a whole lot of negative things will begin to creep in with or without your knowledge. Now, when both parties are not in good terms, you're frowning your face, I'm not talking to you. They say when two people fight, two elephants fight, the grass suffers. Just imagine what happens to the kids when the husband and the wife, they're not in good terms. The kids are the ones to bear the brunt because you unconsciously transfer aggression to the kids, whether the wife or the husband. Okay, so the 5 ways I've said I'll mention today that you can use to rev up your communication life is: 1, erase your past. It might just be that past that you've had that is holding you down, be it the wife or the husband. The past could be your experience with your siblings, your experience with your parents, your relatives, an ex, or even your husband. So if from today that you're watching this video, you're listening to me, you decide to have a good life going forward, meaning the things you've experienced before today is referred to as your past. So whether that past is with your ex or your present husband, you can erase it and move on. So you erasing your past is cleaning off your mind, having a mind reset of those things that make you not communicate well. It might be that where you're coming from, you were in an abusive relationship or in a place where people are not giving room to even speak up. You can't even express yourself very well. So you need to tell yourself, okay, going forward, I need to come out of this shell and learn to talk, learn to express myself, learn to let the other person know what is going wrong with me or what is going on inside of me. So that past may have bottled you up. So you need to tell yourself, I need to get off this shell. I need to break out and break off and break free. In doing this, you have to carry your spouse along. You need to let him know or let her know that this is what you've been going through and you need to have a new life, a fresh life, a fresh start. Okay. Secondly, I put down that you need to just talk. Open your mouth and talk. Where I'm coming from, we agreed. I mean, myself and my husband, we agreed that no matter what, no matter how it is, talk about anything and everything. No matter how deep, no matter how strong that topic seems, just talk about it. As long as you're not being rude, you're not being insultive, just say it the way you're feeling it. Just open your mouth and talk. They say a problem shared is half solved. For me, I think 30% of the problem is solved if you talk. 60% of the problem is solved when your partner is willing to listen. 100% of the problem is solved when it is well analyzed and ready for execution. That is my take. So it starts from you being willing to open your mouth to talk. So if you don't do this, how will your partner know what is going on inside? If you keep things to yourself and when they ask you, oh, what's wrong with you? How are you? Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. And you know deep down inside you are not fine. You're not okay. And you expect the other person to know what you're going through. Your spouse is not a mind reader. Take that. Your spouse is not a mind reader. He or she has not been made to know what is going on inside of you when you don't say it out. You need to talk. You need to express yourself. After all, you're an adult. So as long as you're not insulting someone, you're not being rude, you're expected to just say it the way it is and let the other party know that this is what you're going through. Thirdly, the next thing I have on ground is listen actively. Sometimes, we unconsciously listen with the intention of responding, or we listen with the intention of preferring solution. Have you come across someone that tells you, I'm just telling you this, I just need someone to talk to. It's not like I'm expecting you to respond or give me a solution. There are people like that, and there are situations like that, where people just talk and they expect you to just listen. They just need to have a listening ear. That is what some people expect of us. But most times when we hear our friends talk to us or our spouses talk to us, we unconsciously just tend to want to give a solution. We want to just give that quick fix solution. No, it's not all the time your spouse wants a solution from you. At some point in their life, at some point in time, they just need you to render your shoulder. They just need a shoulder to lean on. They just need an ear that will listen without being distracted. Did you get that? They just need an ear that will listen without being distracted. Now, you're talking to your spouse and in 30 seconds you just say, oh, excuse me, I have a phone call. Oh, excuse me, I need to check who's at the door. Oh, excuse me, I need to do ABC. There's this feeling of, you don't even have my time. Everybody needs to feel loved and appreciated, valued also. So when your spouse is talking to you, try to create that time, create an enabling environment that will make him or her willing to let out everything inside, and on your own give an undivided attention. And do not be in a hurry to prefer solutions. Do not be in a hurry to prefer solutions. It's not all the time you're expected to give solutions. Yes. Fourthly, I have on ground that you should never ignore your spouse. Don't. You won't go far with it. Here you see a lot of couples having this you are there, I am here attitude, where your spouse expects you to talk to him or her. Because of what has happened or the issue on ground, you just ignore, you go blank, and you just go mute. This silence attitude or character where you just go mute and you don't want to talk to anybody, you just stay by yourself, you go into that shell, you're not helping the other person. And that is automatically making that person feel like, okay, you want to stay by yourself, me too, I'll stay by myself. Let me resort to watching TV or reading the papers or even go hang out with friends. Talking about male and female now, it's not necessarily just the women or the men. Go hang out with friends or get stuck doing one thing or the other. Or better still, I resort to pressing my phone, chatting with God knows who. And that automatically brings that person to a level where he starts chatting with people that are not even supposed to be within his association, whether old schoolmates or whoever. So you're pushing this person out to do what ordinarily he or she would not do, or ordinarily he or she should not do. Now, when you make them get to that level where you're not pushing them away unconsciously, secrecy comes in. Because there are things they would have ordinarily told you as a spouse. They no longer have that free platform or enabling platform to say, oh, babe, this thing happened to me today, or hey, guy, I experienced this today. They are now free to talk to someone else. So there's this distance already coming in, creeping in gradually. And if not checked, it will lead to something terrible, where at the end of the day you ask yourself, how did you get here? How did it get this bad? So let's watch these little things that we do, these little things that we let just slide in and make things deteriorate in our homes. Finally, yes, understand your spouse's love language. That one I know a lot of us would have heard before. Love languages. We have 5 love languages. We have the act of service, we have the quality time, we have receiving gifts, we have the words of affirmation or words of encouragement, and we also have the physical touch. Now, everybody has one at least that's predominant in us. And if you find out that your own act of service, your own love language is the act of service, do not be tempted to think that your spouse also needs that, or that is your spouse's also love language. Take out time to find out what your spouse's love language is. Don't assume that because you want someone to do stuff for you, because yours is the act of service, you too want to do that for your spouse. No, find out if your spouse's own love language is physical touch. It could be receiving of gifts. So there's a temptation to want to give back what we feel should be given to us. So what I just advise is, take out time, talk to your spouse, try to understand him, try to understand her, try to find out what is his or her love language and know how to go about it. So let me run through all 5 again. 1, erase your past. Everything that has made you act the way you have acted before, just let them go. Let it go, let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Secondly, I talked about just talk about anything and everything. Let nothing be too big for you to discuss. As a couple, you should be able to talk about everything, from money to communication, to sex, to in-laws, to family, to friends, the workplace, career, kids, everything. Talk about everything. Thirdly, we talked about you listening actively. So be the change you want to see. Always listen. Don't listen with the intention of trying to prefer solution. Fourthly, we talked about you not ignore your spouse. Never ignore your spouse. And finally, find out your spouse's love language. So with these 5, you should, if well practiced, you should be able to go far. You should be able to understand better. You should be able to enjoy more a sparkling marriage life. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.